Forward by Daodejing. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are license-free and in public possession. Further information and references to participate in this project can be found at LibriVox.org. Daodejing by Laozi, translated by Richard Wilhelm. Forward. What we know of the author of the aforementioned aphorism collection, historically believable, goes very closely together. It is so little that the critics often noticed nothing of it and gave it, together with his work in the field of myth-making, its place. The name Laozi, under which he is known in Europe, is not his own name, but an appellatum, and is best translated as Der Alte. Laozi probably comes from the present-day province of Hunan, the southernmost of the so-called northern provinces, and may have been half a century older than Kung, Confucius, so that his birth falls at the end of the 7th pre-Christian century. Over time, he had a position as archivist at the imperial court, which at that time was in Luoyang in the present-day province of Hunan. When the public conditions worsened so much that there was no longer any prospect of the establishment of order, Laozi is said to have withdrawn. When he arrived at the border pass Hangu, riding on a black ox according to later tradition, the border officer Yin He asked him to leave him something written. He wrote down the Daodejing, consisting of more than 5,000 Chinese characters, and gave it to him. Then he went west, no one knows where. It is understandable that this story was also linked to the legend that led Laozi to India and had him come into contact with the Buddha there. Some personal contact between Laozi and Buddha is, however, completely excluded. Later circumstances were brought back to the historical picture. In the Han Dynasty, several emperors turned to the study of the Daodejing, especially Han Wendi, 197 to 157 BC, whose peaceful and simple government style is referred to as the direct fruit of the teachings of the old ways. His son Han Gengdi, 156-40 BC, finally gave the book the name Daodejing, 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 that is, the classic book of meaning and life, by which it has kept in China since then. The whole metaphysics of the Daodejing is based on a basic intuition, which is inaccessible to the strict conceptual fixation, and which Laozi, in order to have a name, necessarily refers to with the word Tao, i.e. Tao. In relation to the correct translation of this word, there was a lot of difference of opinion from the beginning. God, way, reason, word are just a few of the proposed translations, while a part of the translators simply takes over the Tao, untranslated into the European languages. Basically, little depends on the expression, since it is also for Laozi himself only, so to speak, a general sign for something unspeakable. There are essentially aesthetic reasons that make it desirable to have a German word in a German translation. It was passed on from us to choose the word meaning. In order to justify the translation of the recurring word te, i.e. day, it should be noted that the Chinese definition is the same. What the beings receive in order to arise is called day. We have therefore translated the word with life. Not a single historical name is mentioned in Laozi's whole book. He does not want to work in temporality at all. That is why he wanders into foggy distances for historically oriented China, since no one can follow him. And that is precisely the reason why he exerts such great influences in Europe, despite the spatial and temporal distance that separates him from us. He has taken a look at the great world contexts for himself and has put into words what he has seen, leaving it to like-minded spirits of later times to independently follow his indications and to look at the truths that he discovers in the context of the world itself. At all times, there have been individual thinkers who, under the transient apparitions of human life, have raised their gaze to the eternal meaning of the world, whose greatness exceeds all thought, and who have found peace and ease in it, which enabled them not to take the so-called seriousness of life so seriously anymore, because it has no essential value in and for itself. It is a sign of the height of Laozi's standpoint that he is limited to indications of the unspeakable, whose pursuit may remain left to each individual. Richard Wilhelm, Ende von Vorwort.